Thank you to Rosie and to Denise for inviting me. Like Rosie said, she didn't start out as a campaigner. I'm not a campaigner either. I'm a drummer in a band. I'm used to making a racket on stage. I'm on lead vocals tonight, which is a bit odd for me. But I'll give it a go. That's where I am. For over 20 years, my band, Oi Va Voi, had been playing music that draws on its Jewish culture. We use the old sounds, melodies and stories from Jewish history and mix them with a modern mainstream sound. Our music is socially conscious and human. We've played in many places around the world and we've been really proud to represent a little bit of British Jewish culture. Although the heart of the band is Jewish, we've never restricted ourselves to only working with Jewish musicians in the band. In the early days, at the start of our success, we were nominated for a BBC Music Award in a category called Boundary Crossing. And throughout our career, we've continued to cross boundaries. We perform with musicians that we want to perform with regardless of ethnicity or passport, and we perform for people in countries when we are invited to perform. The perfect example of this British Jewish band called Oi Va Voi crossing boundaries is the fact that one of our biggest fan bases is in Turkey, a Muslim majority country where we have never once been questioned about our position on the actions of our or any other government. Last May, Oi Va Voi were on a tour promoting our 5th album. We just played shows in Holland, Belgium, Hungary and Turkey. All great shows with no problems. We arrived back in the UK for a run of 4 shows starting in Bristol. I got word that the venue in Bristol had received a complaint from a pro-Palestinian activist group who were asking for our show to be cancelled because we'd played in Israel and we had an Israeli singer performing with us. A call was set up with the venue and I understood we were going to talk about how to make sure the show could go ahead safely. In the call, I was told that the venue was supporting the protest group and they were cancelling our show. This was followed by a statement by the venue on social media explaining that Oi Va Voi did not meet the ethical standards of their venue. This was obviously devastating, and although our shows in Cambridge and London went ahead, we were also cancelled in Brighton for the same reasons as Bristol. The Brighton cancellation was particularly painful for me, as it's where I live and it's where my children go to school. I'm not going to go into detail about the overall fallout for me on that cancellation, but as someone who has performed as a musician with my Jewish band for over 20 years, to be cancelled in my hometown for being Jewish is a very depressing experience. To dare to be Jewish in artistic spaces today means that strangers and activists believe they have the right to demand you take a position on issues that are most important to them. If you decline to take a public position because either you think your creative work speaks for itself, or that taking a position may require more nuance than the person demanding it can understand, then a position will be taken for you. You will then be judged on that position someone took for you. And the most likely outcome is that you'll be publicly cancelled, as happened to me and my band, or silently pushed out, as is happening to many others. Our cancellation was both racist and xenophobic. These are not words usually associated with the British arts sector. My band was pulled up, questioned and cancelled because of our Jewish heritage. That's racist. I'm not a big fan of the word anti-Semitism. I would prefer to just call it racism, because that's what it is. Our singer was cancelled not because of anything she said or done, but because of where she was born. I would call that xenophobia. If you do a thought experiment and imagine that my band was not British with Jewish heritage, but was British with Chinese heritage, and our singer was not Israeli but Pakistani, then try to imagine an arts organisation even questioning that band, let alone cancelling them. It just wouldn't happen. There was no way any arts organisation would do that, and obviously that's a good thing. British cultural organisations should be judging art on its artistic merits and on the quality of its work, not asking people from specific ethnicities or countries to jump through hoops to satisfy one limited worldview. There are a few different characteristics when it comes to venues and organisations cancelling music and art. I would say there are a small minority of people running venues and organisations that are driven by an ideology or a cause. These organisations believe that their cause is so righteous that the law doesn't apply to them. I think they need to be shown where the lines are and told that the law does apply to them regardless of their cause. I saw with my own eyes how the pennies slowly dropped for the venues that cancelled my band. When they were informed that they had broken the discrimination law, their initial reaction was to loudly defend their chosen cause. But as the realisation set in that these laws are to protect people being discriminated against in this way, and they were breaking those laws, they had no choice but to accept they'd been wrong. And then there are venues and organisations that are not cause-driven, but they are being bullied and intimidated by protest groups. These venues and organisations really need help. They need clear guidelines, they need the law to be understood more widely, they need local and national leaders to show some leadership, and they really need the support that's been offered by Freedom in the Arts Toolkit. The work that the Freedom in the Arts has done in making this toolkit is so important because I think that there is a danger that through these boycotts, our cultural world will become smaller, and if that happens, our society will become poorer and less open. Thank you.